Welcome on this very happy occasion. Just before we start our ceremony and wonderful afternoon together, I'm just going to tell you what is happening outside. Our graduates are lining up in alphabetical order, and they will be preceded by the cortege, consisting of professors and guest speakers and colleagues of mine. They will lead our graduates into this room, and I would like to ask you, when they enter, please give them a warm round of applause. Thank you. Cameras ready, action. I'm sure you all brought your telephones with you as well. Filming is very much okay. Hi, Maret. Very much okay. There will be a live streaming as well, as you've probably been made aware. Can you please check the sound of your telephones being switched off during the ceremony? Thank you. Just a few more moments. Graduating class of 2017. Please be seated. Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon, dear graduates, families, friends, corporate guests, professors, deans, and colleagues present in this room today, alumni. Good afternoon also to those who cannot be here in person, but who are joining us virtually. We feel your presence, right? Yeah. Welcome. Welcome on this happy occasion where we're celebrating the great achievements of our RSM OneMBA 2017 class. Achievements that have led to their graduation today. Rigid academic work, global travel, global and local teamwork, and deep personal reflection have been on their daily calendars until now. And most likely on yours as well. Like you, we are incredibly proud of them reaching the grand finale today. We look forward to spending a wonderful afternoon with you together. Before we reach that big moment of the degree handovers this afternoon, it is my pleasure to introduce our first speaker of today for an official welcome on behalf of RSM. May I welcome the Dean of Rotterdam School of Management, Erasmus University, Professor Dr. Steve van der Velde.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome all to the RSM OneMBA Graduation ceremony of the 2017 class. And let me start by congratulating all of you by graduating here today. That's a fantastic achievement, and you got all the reasons to be very, very proud of yourselves. I'm pretty sure your relatives, your families, your dear ones, your colleagues are. And of course, RSM is very proud of you too. Now, before I go on, let me try and sense how proud and how happy you are. So let me ask you this question. Class of 2017, how happy are you today? I always ask people this question, right? And last year's class was much more enthusiastic. So let me ask you all again. And then please, I really expect you to stand up, dance, go through the roof, do crazy, no limits. How happy are you today? That's the spirit, right? And it's probably also the last time you listen to me. There are two small fishes swimming this way. And from this side, a big fish is coming up. And they meet each other, and the big fish says, "Morning, boys. How is the water?" And the small fishes ignore him, keep on swimming. And after a while, one small fish, young fish, turns to the other and says, "What the hell is water?" Well, the point of the fish story is that the most obvious, important realities are often the ones that are hardest to see and easiest to be overlooked. This fish story is not mine, by the way. It's by David Foster Wallace from his book, This is Water, Some Thoughts Delivered in a Significant Occasion About Living a Compassionate Life. They also used this story in a very famous commencement speech in an undergraduate program, one that's very easy to Google and one that I wholeheartedly recommend. And the crux of that story is that education is not about knowledge. It's all about awareness, about knowing what water is. I would like to take the story, the analogy, in a slightly different direction than he did. And by no means I would like to suggest that I am the big fish and you are the small ones. On the contrary. Some of you may know that I had a huge wake-up call myself last year. And also that made me realize that I had totally forgotten what water was. I'm not a big fish. But I think that right now, today, all of you are. Because if you look back on the OneMBA program, then for sure, it's about boosting your knowledge, honing your skills, your competencies. But most of all, it has allowed you to recalibrate your values, your attitudes. It has increased your self-awareness. It has increased your self-confidence without becoming arrogant. And it has allowed you to find life meaning and purpose, to understand what's really important in life and what's not. And I would claim that above all, the added value of an MBA degree is the realization that now you're in the position to lead and create value, and not just for yourselves, but for others. Right now, each of you is a big senior fish. But the key question is whether you still know what water is, maybe a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 5 years from now. Or will you slowly, but certainly forget? So another big question is, how do you make sure that you not only just remember what water is, but that you also stay aware, that you're able to challenge others, that you can play the role of the big fish in real life? And to this end, I got two suggestions. First, I would say, and that's very important, stay in touch as a group. Meet each other periodically. Challenge each other by asking now and then, how's the water, boys? And second, make sure you always have a very clear purpose in life. Because we know that if you have a life purpose, in a particular altruistic one, you become healthier, happier, you live longer, and also quite important, you will have better sex. For organizations, it's also important to have a clear purpose. And likewise, it's important for business schools to have a clear common purpose. And that's exactly why we changed our mission earlier this year after a pretty long debate in the school that took almost a year. Because if you think about it, a mission is nothing else but a common ambition and a common purpose. So how did we arrive at that new mission? Basically, we looked around and at what's happening in the world. And we all know that the world, all of us, are facing big challenges. Poverty, hunger, inequality, injustice, climate change, and so on. And to solve all these problems, many transitions and transformations are needed. And it's our conviction that business should play a key role in solving these big problems. And since RSM, Rotterdam School of Management, aims to enhance the practice and management of organizations and business, we also think that we have a key role to play. And our new mission is very short, because we also came to the insight that the better the school, the shorter the mission, right? And you know our reputation, so our mission had to be very, very short, and now it's to be a force for positive change. I'm very proud of this new mission. It has been embraced by everyone connected to our school. It's pretty powerful, pretty ambitious, but at the same time also maybe pretentious, because we have to walk the talk. We have to make it happen. And basically, as a school, we've got three levers. It's research, very important, engagement, how we engage with industry and society. But our most important lever, the most powerful one, these are our graduates, our alumni. That's you. You got to do it for us. Many believe that the reputation of a business school is determined or maybe reflected by its rankings. And indeed, RSM enjoys very high positions in the different league tables. And to give you an example, US News and World Report ranking, the most important ranking in the US puts us number 15 in the world, number 3 in Europe, behind Harvard and Oxford, but before Cambridge and Princeton. No small feat whatsoever. And this and other rankings confirm the very high quality of our students, their employability, the quality of our research and our educational programs. But there are so many rankings. Which one to believe? It's my conviction that the true reputation of a school depends on its impact. The impact of its research, and most of all, the impact of its alumni. Because it's you, the graduates, that make a difference in the world. You are the ones that can have an impact, that can create value, wealth, well-being, and as I said, not just for yourselves, but for others in a responsible and sustainable way. You can strengthen our reputation. And I therefore trust that you see your degree as a lot more, and something more than just a ticket to a higher career or better career or a higher income. You will be in the advantageous position for making a positive change in the world. And from time to time, maybe next year, in June, I'd like you to step back for a while, look in the mirror, and ask yourself, am I making a positive change in the world? Have I made a positive change for my family, my friends, company, community, society, the world? How is the water? Do I still know what water is? And if the answer is no to all these questions, and you have no longer an idea what water is, then it might be time for a fundamental change. Life is simply too short. Dear graduates, we had lots of fun in class and also in China last month. As a business school, as RSM, we believe in you because you're part of our social capital, now and in the future. I'm wishing you all the very best in your personal and professional lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor van der Velde. Steve. It's an honor for me now to introduce our keynote speaker of today, Mr. Wouter van der Woerd, member of the Executive Board of Directors of SHV, or SHV as you may know it, Holdings NV, where he's responsible for people management, communications, legal and organizational issues. SHV, as you may all know, is a world-renowned family-owned multinational with a strong focus on entrepreneurship. With sales over 18 billion euros, SHV has a presence in 60 countries on all continents and employs more than 60,000 people. Some familiar company names that fall under the SHV umbrella may sound familiar to you: Macro, Mammoet, SHV Energy, Erics, Nutreco, where in the latter Mr. van der Woerd is also supervisory board member as well. With his broad experience in the area of human capital leadership in companies such as KLM, Vroom and Reesman, SHV Macro, and his own consultancy firm Mendev Benelux, our keynote speaker is very well equipped to address our graduates and audience today and share his leadership insights with us. And Mr. van der Woerd, Anneke graduating today, and Yves hopefully graduating next year. They're both excellent students. Thank you.
Dear graduates, family, friends, staff, professors, dean, all present here today. For me, it's an incredible honor to be here and to have the opportunity to share my ideas on people and talent management, especially in relation to what is already said in relation to change. Talking about change is, in my opinion, also the connection with this event, since I'm convinced that change is also one of the main drivers of the graduates in front of me. Before I focus on the changed environment, the effects of change, the changes in our company, and especially the impact on people, and of course what it could mean for you. A few words about SHV, although you already mentioned quite some important elements. SHV was founded here in Rotterdam, and I think also from that perspective it's nice to be here, in 1896, as a merger, and nowadays we would say a cartel, between a number of large coal companies, some of them being active already since the 18th century. And although SHV is, although traditional in its values, and modest in our behavior, because we are not a marketing machine, we are a company constantly dealing with change, already since the day we started in 1896. And I can tell you, if the shareholders halfway through the 20th century had not addressed this question, I would probably not be here to have the opportunity to speak to you and to have the proud honor to tell you my vision about change and talent management. Because the outcome of this question is that basically SHV in the peak of the coal trade, still very profitable in doing that, decided to move to other businesses. They already mentioned we are a worldwide market leader in LPG, that's called SSV Energy. We have a heavy lifting company. We are active in exploration and production of oil and gas. We are very fundamental present with Macro in South America, but up 20,000 people over there. And by the way, also 4,000 people in Venezuela. And when you talk about change, I can tell you that they really have a hardship over there. That we are active in the industrial services where the graduates also were working. You know a lot about that as well, so it's good. And since a few years, we also active in fish feed and animal nutrition, which is called Nutreco. And of course, we invest through MPM, our Dutch investment company, in several known companies. So SHV is, and I will make this short because it's already mentioned, a privately held company. We are investing on the long term That's very, very important to say here. With a strong entrepreneurial spirit, with strong company values, embedded in what we call our corporate philosophy, 60,000 colleagues, which in our opinion are fundamental for our success, operating in 60 countries with a turnover something more about 80 billion, and that will be higher this year. So enough about SHV. Let's focus on what kind of world we operate in and what kind of effects that has on our company. Definitely in a volatile world, we have short-term and long-term trends to consider. It's very well summarized in what Bain once did in this slide. It's the great 8 macro themes up to 2020. It's worthwhile to look a little bit more close to those trends. To start with, we have to accept that the world population is rapidly growing, from 7 to 9 billion people in 2050. Next to that, the percentage of people living in cities is increasing from 50 to 70%. We definitely have to develop human capital, and in a different way as we are used to. I think you know all about that. A young lad in Mumbai, India, nowadays, has the same detailed information directly on his prepaid phone available as Bill Clinton had with his entire staff when he was President of the United States. So information, content is everywhere, on every moment around us. So development sincerely asks for a different ballgame. Militarization is following industrialization, and the growing output of primary input needs to be managed. You only have to look at the oil price today. And I can tell you, if SHV still was dependent on the oil and gas industry, I also would not have been here. We also have to keep the wealthy healthy. And I would not be surprised if probably not long from now, robots would help us to do so. Full attention is needed to improve our infrastructure. Just to give you one example, we're dealing with basically every month. The distance from our macro head office in Sao Paulo to the airport is approximately 20 kilometers, and it easily can take you 2 hours when you are lucky. We still make everything the same but nicer while we are preparing for the next big thing. The next big thing. It can be here on Earth, but also can be even in space. If you have read the newspaper last week, it was in the news that already companies are founded to deal with mining in space. Mining in space. Very profitable. Legally, nobody owns the space, so this will be an interesting battle in due course, especially when you take into consideration that specific events make things even more complicated. Like new leaders, rather unpredictable. New nationalism, and 65 million people worldwide on the run, and a huge increase of terror in Europe. So one thing is for sure, and that's the reason I'm honored to be here. You and I, this university, my company, my mother of 87, and the children in the class of my wife, we all have to deal with change. You cannot duck and cover for change. You have to manage change. And in our company, we think, for what it's worth, that one of the most and second important ingredients, I will come to the first and the most important ingredient, the second most important ingredient to do so is innovation. Innovation is key. Like robotization. For some of us still far away, but watch out. It will take over millions of jobs in the coming decades. It's already active in cars, which stop automatically in case of sudden danger. Try to just put it out, that system. It's very, very difficult. And already common in surgery. It's already even active as buddies in elderly homes. And I once heard something from a professor from Singularity University saying, in 20 years your home doctor will be a robot. We will see. And you see it as buddies in elderly homes helping keeping again the wealthy healthy. Big innovations, you choose from a 3D printer, the digital world, but also very small innovations. Small innovations all started with and through people. Like, for example, I go too fast, that man in the middle is Alfredo Moser, who invented a lamp out of a used plastic bottle filled with water, taped into the ceiling, giving great daylight and thus giving people everywhere the opportunity to read, to study and to develop. Free daylight for all. How simple can it be? Or, where we also are very active, that's in solar cooking. Using the energy of direct sunlight to heat and to cook. It's inexpensive, it's low-tech, but it is as powerful as the expensive and energy-consuming traditional stoves. Hear me saying that, energy-consuming stoves. And I'm selling approximately about 8 billion a year energy. So we have to step beyond our own goals and our traditional doing way of business. Oh, here it is, sorry. People start innovations. You, me, our colleagues. So in our humble opinion, people are by far the most important ingredients to cope with change. The most ingredient to stay fit, to remain connected. People are the key drivers for a sustainable future. So also for SHV's future. Let me explain it very shortly a little bit further. Because probably you have learned that also during your MBA. Markets are available. Old markets, emerging markets, former emerging markets, traditional markets, even new markets. Markets are available. Maybe even what I said in space. And money was never so cheap. Of course, the counter side of the fact that money is so cheap is that buying companies was never so expensive. But the real thing is, what about people? All kinds of concerning signals are thrown over the fence. A huge shortage of technical people, for example. No engineering is available. No IT staff. No operators. Pensions becoming unaffordable, especially in Europe. Salaries are rapidly increasing. And talent is difficult to find and even much more difficult to retain. The big gap between the old, experienced workforce and the very young ones educated in a complete different way. And I'm very happy to hear and to see that the young ones are already here. They ask for a new way of thinking. And in our company, we think that we cannot duck and cover for that. It is not a free lunch. It's not just having a brainstorm, okay, what will we do in the future, and then we start doing the things as we always did. All these changes ask for new leadership with new insights, new thinking, new methods, and a completely new approach. Because, let's call a spade, the wealthy will stay healthy and work longer. And the very young ones start earlier. This is, for example, Alina Moors. She started her company at 11 years age. She invented a healthy lollipop because she was not allowed from her mother to take a lollipop because it was bad for your teeth. She started to invent a healthy lollipop with plant-derived sugar alternatives and xylitol, and now 4 years later, the estimated turnover is over $500,000 a year, and our lollipop is available in all big supermarkets in the USA. So, traditional career planning, and you have to look at myself. I'm 59 years of age, 5 years a trainee, 5 years middle management, 5 years your own P&L, and maybe then at the end of the day, in a certain stage and a certain age, you will be asked to step to an executive position. That, in my opinion, seems over. Wow! What are changes? What a lot of things are ongoing. And the question, of course, is how do we deal with this all? Is it still working? Otherwise, I talk a little bit louder. That's also dealing with disruptiveness and change. Okay, see, the younger ones are already taking over, you see? They prove basically, thank you very much. Okay, first of all, what SHV tries to do, we stay very close to our vision. What we think is having trustworthy and capable people grown from within. They are essential for SHV, especially on the long term. Without them and their successors, we cannot remain who we are and cope with today and with the future. Secondly, and this is an important message I want to give to you, although maybe 1,000 issues every day are equally important, we as an executive board, we are 4 of us, we decided 7 years ago to build on the tradition of the family, to concentrate on doing the right things, which you see in this triangle. Very simple, and I can tell you that most of our time is spent with and for people. We, as ambassadors of the company values, spend most of our time in developing outstanding management teams, because they will safeguard our culture and values and ultimately drive also growth ambitions through excellent performance. In other words, and that's basically the message, the how as a fundament for the what. So basically, doing the right things for SHV means people management is a leadership issue. And since you are a leader, or you will become a leader, people management is your issue. And we as an executive board set the tone at the top. And we are also ultimately responsible. In our opinion, for what's worth, you cannot delegate people issues. So also put your money where your mouth is. Develop, 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 and start as early as possible. For a job and also in a job. It never stops. Create long-term career opportunities through cross-group appointments. As you have probably seen, we have 7 completely different companies, but it's important that you give people the opportunity to be in all those groups. Allow people to make mistakes. Prioritize organizational culture and behavior. Appoint preferably from within, and make people management a measurable business issue for all leaders. It's not only about your sales and your EBIT and your costs, it's mainly about people. So let me make that a little bit more specific, like an annual report. And this, by the way, what we also do once a year in our shareholders meeting. We talk about people, but we also show what we have done with people. 60,300 people in 2016. 750 plus people on key positions worldwide. 200 emerging talents. 101 recruits internally, people to other positions. From those 101, 71% came through our own talent pipeline. Mainly because we constantly coached our 200 emerging talents on the job, and we developed 140 people in special development programs. From those 140 key people we developed, we spent more than $1 million in several programs. I will not go in all the details. Expensive programs, cheap programs, but intensive programs for the participants. And from that 140 people, 89% is still part of SHV, whilst 52% of them already, within a year, got promoted. Usain Bolt once said, the process of handing over the baton is the most delicate part of the race. It basically decides if you win or lose. and in a family-owned company with a long-term view, we are very much aware of the idea that we have to prepare to hand over the baton. But that also means that it's not a free lunch for the demanding talents. So now it's also not a free lunch for you. It takes two to tango. You need to stay up to par as well. So let me, in the last part of my presentation, focus a little bit more on you, because this afternoon, this is all about you. And I'm fully aware that presently a lot is being asked. Freely translated from the Dutch expression, the sheep with the 5 legs. I don't know if that's anyhow doable to say it in that way, but I think you know what I mean. A few tips based on my own experience and based on what we asked for you in our company. First of all, maybe strange to say over here, don't count too much on the manual. What has been written today can be aged tomorrow. The fact that you know it all today does not mean that you can execute it tomorrow. Secondly, and that's maybe even more strange to say over here in this venue, don't spend all your time with thinking. Don't spend all your time with thinking. Because the speed of execution goes up every day. So if you want to stay connected, bungee jump every day to the place where your strategy needs to be executed. Spend time in the mud. Don't spend your time in the executive boardroom. Some of my colleagues are here. I can tell you that if I'm a week in my office, I start to get bored already. 60,000 people in the field. Yes, we fly a lot. I'm already a frequent flyer for a long time. I don't know if that's something to be proud of. But the moment you're in the field, you really know what it is all about. People basically being the ambassador of your company. So stay connected. Mostly the people in the field, as long as I can recall, they have the right answers. Never, ever lose your discipline. Through discipline comes freedom. And, as already mentioned, try to do as much as you can together with other people. The more diversified, the better. More different opinions sharp the decision-making process. I'm convinced of that. And what we can learn from Michelangelo is don't be lazy. Don't be sloppy, or even think that it will be easy after today. Or even worse, and I do not want to spoil the soup today, think that after you have received your certificate, that this was it. It only starts today. Because basically, you are the one who have to jump with your renewed insights, your renewed knowledge. And jumping, ask for courage. As John Wayne once said, courage is being scared to death and settling up anyway. Courageous people make the difference, in my humble opinion, so we need them. I want to end with a very simple message. This is, by the way, Gary Grant, an actor. It's not my father, but the story is about my father. I was born in a middle-class retail family, really above the store. Customers every day, 59 years ago. And every morning, my father looked into the mirror during his daily shave and said, "Today, I will do it a little bit better than yesterday." So, my advice to you, learn every day, have fun every day, make your daily mistakes, and take care of your daily change. The smaller the better. Step by step. Never stop working on your future, because in my opinion, you are the future. Congratulations.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. van der Woerd, for your excellent talk, I must say. And it's wonderful to hear how the values of SAV seem really intertwined with the values that you keep in your personal life. So thank you very much for your sharing. I would now like to invite two class representatives of our OneMBA 2017 class who will share their experience with all of you regarding their OneMBA journey, or the class's OneMBA journey. Can I ask Anneke and Rick to step forward?
Let me start that Anneke and I for sure feel very courageous at the moment. Just a quick lesson learned already. Yeah, scared also indeed. Yeah. Is it working?
I hope so. Does it work? Yes. Good afternoon to all of you. Dear family, friends, people from university, invitees, business partners, dear classmates. Let me first thank you to give Rick and I the honor to speak in front of the class. Why there are two speakers, you may wonder. Well, besides continuing the teamwork as we did the past 2 years, we are convinced that in this modern world there are much more female leaders, and it is important to have mixed teams. It is even proven that mixed teams lead to better team dynamics and even led to better financial results. The men in our team, 20 of them, will be able to tell you that it was a challenge to work with those 7 very strong and ambitious ladies. But let me tell you, also the women learned a lot from the men. This time of the year, about 2 years ago, we were all very busy deciding what kind of MBA program we would like to follow. We were following some lectures over here to make sure we got to know the content of the program. And then we did the admission for enrollment. It was a very important decision to go for this OneMBA program. And yes, it was the beginning of a new step in our lives. And as already said, it's only just the beginning. Besides today, graduation day, probably September 16, 2015 was the most exciting day for us. That was the day that it all started. We had to introduce ourselves, explain to each other who we are. And later on in the program, we found out that it was for all of us a very scary moment to find out how much knowledge and experience we bring onto the table. We were 29 people when we started. Unfortunately, 2 of them had to leave the program, but they will certainly graduate next year. 27 people, 9 nationalities. The average age of our team was 42 when we started the program. During the first 3-day residency, we got prepared on all the teamwork, and we got prepared for the 4th day to leave for Washington, to experience our first global residency altogether, and to meet all our peers from all over the world. As you all may know, I assume there are 5 universities within this program. There is, of course, RSM, but there is also UNC from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. There is a university from Mexico, one from Brazil, and there is one in China. And during the first residency, we met all our 99 other colleagues. Altogether, we represent 21 nationalities. Let me tell you something else. When we started the program, Saskia, our program director, gave us 5 rules to follow. She said, don't move houses throughout the program. Don't change jobs. Don't fall out of love and don't fall in love. And last one, don't get pregnant. It will all take too much energy. But let me tell you, I think all of us broke at least one of the rules. About 6 or 7 people moved houses. They even moved countries. Half of the class already changed jobs or is in a transition towards a new position. Some of them have a new partner. And last but not least, 4 babies were born throughout the 2 years, and 2 are on its way. We have Madeline, who is pregnant, and there is the wife of Ildar, who is also very much pregnant. And let me tell you that out of those 4 people that got a new baby, 2 of them were from ladies within our class. There is Paola, and Paola really managed it very well. Her baby was born in between 2 residencies, so she didn't have to miss anything of the program. But unfortunately, Lucy, our friend from the UK, was not able to make it here today. She will graduate next year, as she was pregnant and could not make it to Mexico and Brazil because of the Zika virus. But I'm sure Lucy is watching now, so Lucy, you are with us.
We had a lot of lectures, presentations, and the OneMBA program put together a local plan and a very good global program. The RSM team flew in professors from around the globe, from every corner of the world, and brought in very skilled speakers who were subject experts when they were talking to us about a certain topic. Professor Steve van der Velde, he showed us what it means to run a global operation. We got simulation programs very early on in our starting of the MBA, where we had to run a factory for 24 hours and several days a week, which was quite a stressful experience for us all. But there was also a lot of fun. He allowed us to play with Lego for a couple of hours a day. So it was very good to do these things. Chaos theory, cellular biology, quantum physics, neuroscience, and decision making. Dr. Alice Bennett taught us that they all relate to each other and they all influence us. We didn't know that at that point. Global finance, we got economics, we got accounting. We learned something about mergers and acquisitions. We dealt with balance sheets, income statements. We learned how to calculate the weighted cost of average, or what's the added value in a company. Marketing, strategic plans. We learned how to position our companies, how to position our products, how to market them. All these lectures were given over this 21-month period of time. And last but not least, we had the PLD, which is a personal leadership development program, also during this 21 months. We had to do a lot of soul searching, get to know ourselves, what are our strengths, what are our development areas, be very open and in a trusted environment with this class. We were able to share a lot of things. We were defining our role models and what kind of leadership style fits us, and that was for everybody a bit different. And also think about the future. What kind of leader do we want to be, or should we be? Let me put this one on. Yeah.
The academic achievements required us to read 15 books and over 10,000 of pages of cases and other kind of documents to get prepared for the lectures. We spent about 600 hours in class or doing company visits. And we studied for about 2,000 hours per person during those 2 years. To enable us to really experience the global experience, we had to travel a lot. And we traveled about 70,000 kilometers, which is almost going twice around the globe. We were away from home for about 75 nights or 2.5 months during this 2-year program. And all 27 students together, we were away for about 2,000 days. During each global residency, we got to know our global peers, 21 nationalities. During those residencies, we got to know our new teams to work with. We were divided into teams of 6 or 7 people per team. And each one of us was in 3 local teams and 3 global teams, working together every time for 6 or 7 months. Not only did we have so many courses, lectures, and company visits, but we also enjoyed some country-specific traditions and ways of doing business. Remember India, where we had to light some candles before the lecture could start. And of course, we discovered some culture. Amongst others, we saw the White House. We visited the port of Rotterdam. We saw the Museum of Anthropology in Mexico City. We discovered some Chinese massage. We all thought it was going to be relaxing, but 2 days later, our back was still hurting. And yes, we also made a lot of fun. We partied. We discovered Chinese karaoke. And most of us also visited the Taj Mahal in India. Experience which we will never forget. During our MBA program, also some world history was made. Remember when we were on the plane from Sao Paulo to Mexico City, the election in the United States was going on. And landing in Mexico City, there we discovered that Trump became president. But there also was the Brexit referendum, and there was the impeachment of President Dilma Rousseff of Brazil.
Yes, so that gives a bit of an overview of what we experienced as students. But as proper students do, we also have social activities. And nowadays, well, as Anneke told us, our average age was 41, and our working experience was over 15 years for each person. So we're senior youth students. But we did use the modern technology. We did use the WhatsApp group, like probably the youth of today does, to make appointments and to meet up in the bar and to discuss what we're going to do that night, or how was the lecture, how was this professor, did you see this, this is a nice article. And what has happened to us, like with youth, it's difficult to focus during a lecture. So even CEOs of big international companies and colleague students with multiple degrees had a problem focusing during lectures and reading their WhatsApp groups. We analyzed, of course, once we saw it, we analyzed the WhatsApp group. And what you see is that we had about 9,200 apps in our WhatsApp group. And that even means we skipped the first 3 months, because then we had a different group, if you remember. So we estimate it's over 10,000 apps that were sent in that group. That means just about 500 each month with us as a team. There were a lot of happy moments, but closer to deadlines, you saw the other icons come up. What was the most used symbol was the one of prayer, that we are happy, be happy, kind of thing. We also had an international group, which had over 4,200 apps. So that means all the universities, 5 universities. And when we looked at who sent the most, I did it by telephone number and country code. So I thought the Dutch were the most communicative. We were excelling in communication, good thing. But as we learned in managerial decision makings, you have to analyze things the way they are. So Anneke and I discussed it. We had a lot of Skype calls how to deal with this problem. And we started to use a standard deviation, as we learned, for the number of classmates for each country. And when we simulated that with the program that we had learned in our lectures, it turned out our Chinese friends were the most communicative. But another graph, as a manager, you want to see trends and development and KPIs. So we also looked, and that's very interesting for RSM, I think, that over the transition of years, the blue line is our local WhatsApp group, and the red one is the global WhatsApp group. We transformed from local to global You see the communication go up with a peak in our last Asian residency of 1,500 apps during that month.
Not only we as students made a big investment in time and energy, but also our partners and children had to settle down for less time with us. We had less time to help in the house. Our partners often had to decide on their own. We had no time to spend with friends or go to birthday parties or things like that. Remember even December 20, 2015, when we were 3 months in the program, we got a nice email from Jos indicating that we had an assignment to do for economics by the 5th of January. At that time, the communication in the WhatsApp group increased very much. We were all so disappointed not being able to spend all Christmas time with the family. So, dear classmates, can we please ask you to stand up? Take a look at your family, your loved ones, and give them a very warm applause to thank them for their support. Thank you. Don't sit down yet, don't sit down yet. We also acknowledge the support of our sponsors, our colleagues, our business partners. Without their support, either it was financially, giving us some days off, or even a mental support, we were not able neither to follow and do this program. So also for them, a very warm applause. You may sit down.
You may sit down. So, dear professors and RSM staff, we thank you for the interesting lectures and for the challenging assignments you gave us. A special word of thanks goes out to the RSM OneMBA team, Saskia, Tinka, Maria Pia, and of course Jos. We can always rely on Jos to send us a friendly reminder of that we needed to submit something, a good schedule that we didn't need to miss, or send us more readings. It was always good to find out we were never running out of pre-readings due to Jos. Thank you for that, Jos. And as a small token of our gratitude, we have, on behalf of the whole class, a small gift to you.
Come on. Jos, Maria Pia, Tinka, Saskia. Thank you so much. Oh.
And we figured that they had caused us enough stress, we would give them some actually relaxing massages, not really the traditional Chinese ones. That was bad to say. Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay. And as a small token of our gratitude, we also have a piece of art, which I'd like to hand over to Saskia.
Oh my goodness.
And I hope you will find a nice place for it somewhere in the OneMBA trophy cabin.
Oh yes, definitely. Thank you so much.
To remember us by.
Excellent. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. And now I see it. I had my hand in front of it. It says, OneMBA, thank you, well, your class 2017. Beautiful.
Okay. The OneMBA program has now come to an end for us. Each one of us has grown a lot over these past 2 years. And we were privileged to share our life stories and our developments in the last 2 days. There were amazing stories told, and amazing people were in the room sharing their dreams, their history, and the way they want to go forward in life. So, I'd like to thank you for your presence, also on behalf of Anneke, and really look forward to our reunion somewhere in Croatia, I think. Thank you.
So, as the director of your program, it has been an honor, really, and a privilege to work with you over the last 21 months. And I mentioned it to you yesterday, you're really close to my heart over the months. But it's now time to set you free and give you back to your families, your friends, your work, your own agenda. But it has been wonderful to work with you. And I think I speak on behalf of our team and of RSM that we really appreciate the gift, because it really shows that you cannot do it by yourself. And it also needs, well, to be reflected again, I think, that other people help you grow as an individual. And I found a small poem. Sorry, you have to wait for your diploma. I found a small poem, and I wasn't even sure if I were to read it today, but after your gift, I am. And it's a small poem by Ming-Di Liu. She's an artist and a book publicist from New York. It's called Who Am I? Who am I, you ask? I am made from all the people I've encountered and all the things I've experienced. Inside, I hold the laughter of my friends, the arguments with my parents, the chattering from young children, and the warmth of kind strangers. Inside, there are stitchings from cracked hearts, bitter words from heated arguments, music that gets me through, and emotions I cannot convey. I am made from all these people and moments. That is who I am. And I hope that after today, when you celebrate many, many more highlights in your lives, you will see today as one of the highlights of your life. And remember who made you who you are. It's you, but it's definitely also the people around you. So that being said, are you now ready, finally, for that diploma? Do we need a breathing exercise first, or are you okay with that? I'm going to ask our dean and our registrar then to prepare for your diplomas already. And when I call out your names, one by one, please step forward and walk towards our dean in order to collect your diploma. Excuse me?
Could you brief me?
Absolutely. He's never done this before. I'll get out of your views here. Ready? Ready when you are? So it's my privilege to ask to come to the stage in order to receive the diploma and the OneMBA certificate, Mr. Daniele Antonioli. Igor Aurecoechea. Irina Belokopitova. Arup Bhattacharjee. Marianne Boelens. Jalal Fitouri. Rick Hoff. Anneke Hunnink. Dusan Jancic. Sorry, sta ik er weer voor. Arnold Jongbloed. Mohammed Ali Kawaya. Henk van Laar. Zvonimir Mursic. Madeleine Mulder en co. René Nijhuis. Marco de Nooijer. Bastiaan van Nuenen. Beth Rees. Frides van Rijnten. Brent van Rossum. Francesca Sagui. Pascal Slot. Paola Tondini. Matthijs Visser. Marco Wiedijk. Ildar Yusupov. And last but not least, Geert van der Zalm. So congratulations, OneMBA class of 2017. You have now officially graduated from your OneMBA RSM program. Congratulations. The RSM Examination Board, however, wants to recognize two people of this class in particular by rewarding them for their top-of-the-class achievements and providing them with a so-called Dean's Honor. It is my pleasure to invite to come back to the stage Francesca Sagui, and Geert van der Zalm. Wait a minute. It not only comes with decoration, but with a real certificate. Congratulations again. That means that I can now safely hand you over to my colleagues in the Alumni Board, team of RSM, and the capable hands of Peter Brijs, our OneMBA Alumni EU representative. Thank you for welcoming them. Yeah.
So, congratulations. Here you are, new graduates of Rotterdam School of Management, OneMBA class of 2017. Congratulations to each and every one of you for achieving this memorable milestone in your life. I would not only like to congratulate you, but also like to welcome you as graduates to our alumni network. Because as Professor van der Velde mentions, today is not the end, it's actually only the beginning. As an alumnus, you're part of the RSM community. And like your OneMBA program, this is a truly global one and consists of no less than 34,000 graduates worldwide from RSM's bachelor, master, MBA and PhD programs. You've already been part of this community from the moment that you enrolled into your OneMBA program, and we sincerely hope that you will remain an active member of our community from this day onwards. So the focus of the RSM Alumni Relations Office is encouraging engagement within our community on 4 levels. By networking in a professional and social context, we organize and we facilitate alumni events around the world. By providing lifelong opportunities, because you've graduated, it surely doesn't mean you've stopped learning. By giving back as an ambassador of the school, you can actually help us attract the best new students into our programs. And by staying connected, we hope that you simply keep us updated about your contact information so we know where and when to find you. And we also hope that when you leave the campus today, this is not goodbye. We hope to see lots of you actually in the future, during class reunions, RSM events in Rotterdam and in cities around the world, or maybe even back in the classroom, during master classes, elective courses, which you can attend as an alumnus. We hope that you will continue to be involved in the school. In your particular case, being a graduate of the OneMBA program, your position within the alumni community is actually extra special, as you now belong to 2 communities. You're a valued member of the RSM alumni community, but your first connection among each other will always be with the OneMBA program. And that is why I'd like to introduce you also to Peter Brijs. Peter was in your shoes 4 years ago already. Time flies, Peter. He is a proud graduate of the OneMBA class of 2013. Peter also serves as a chairman on the OneMBA Alumni Association and ensuring that the OneMBA alumni community continues to flourish. He will elaborate some more about how you stay connected with your OneMBA peers. Before I hand over to Peter, I would like to remind you that we have a small goodie bag prepared for you as a graduation gift, which you can pick up once you leave the auditorium today. So once again, congratulations. We hope you keep in touch. And one day you will actually be back in the classroom again. We sincerely hope so. Congratulations.
Thank you, Irene. And hello, class of 2017. Hello, alumni. Welcome. Congratulations. You have reached an incredible milestone after 2 years of hard work. 2 years in which you and your family have made sacrifices, and 2 years in which you have changed and grown as professionals, human beings and global citizens. The journey has taken you from Washington DC to Rotterdam, Poland, Mexico, Brazil, Mexico, China, India, and to graduation here today in Rotterdam. This is where the program ends. But at some point, and not just because everyone tells you so, but at some point, most of you, if not all, will have realized this is not the end of a journey. It's simply the start of a new phase. I have had the pleasure of meeting you a few times over the past 2 years, starting in Rotterdam over Dean's Dinner, then addressing you in Washington, D.C., and most recently in China, in Xiamen. And it was great seeing you change as a cohort and individuals change as OneMBA alumni, into OneMBA alumni. What a journey it has been. What comes now is probably a few weeks of getting used to no more deadlines. Yes, there will be withdrawal symptoms. Well-deserved holidays, and finally doing the necessary repairs in the house. When you went out to take the class picture, I talked to a few of the partners, and yes, they made a list. Inevitably, the new phase will raise questions, such as, what am I going to do next? How will I be able to bring my knowledge into practice? And also, how can I share what I learned? How can I keep learning? You voluntarily took the hard way when you chose OneMBA, and things will never get back to 2015. Things will never get back to normal. I hope I will not disappoint anyone, but there is a new normal now. By coincidence, your global residencies were often together with global alumni meetings. I think we saw you 3 or 4 times, and we even had complaints from other classes. So you have met some alumni, and since the first class graduated in 2004, more than 1,400 people graduated from OneMBA, and let me show you how they are divided. We have 387 people from RSM. That does include you. 476 of UNC, 146 of FGV, 208 of Agade. Xiamen is rising quickly, 25 now, but I think next year they will have 20 more and then growing quickly. And 121 of CUHK, which you never experienced. They will also be a part of the OneMBA community forever. And there also will be networking opportunities for you as well. These people are people like you, people working in all sorts of industries and literally all over the world. Thanks to some data that Irene gave me, and this is just the OneMBA alumni from RSM, you can see that we do have alumni all over the world. Well, we have some vacancies in Antarctica and in the Sahel countries, so I will ask for volunteers later. But as you can see, we really are spread all over the world. And like I said, if you include FGV and Agade, UNC, it will probably be all over South America and North America as well, and a lot of Chinese partners. So combined with the other schools, I dare to say, you could probably find OneMBA alumnus in every major city in the world. If you're looking for opportunities, looking for people in a certain position, city or industry, chances are you will find an alum there. An alum interested in you, interested and willing to help you. They usually are interested in strengthening and expanding their business networks, in exchanging and challenging their ideas with fellow alumni. So sustaining a strong network among the local and global OneMBA alumni, as well as promoting continuous development of alumni as global leaders, are the main goals of the OneMBA Alumni Association. We have local chapters at every school, as you can see here, among the world, and as a global board, we organize one global event each year tied to a global residency of a current class. Here are some pictures of recent events. We have had very successful events in Sao Paulo, Amsterdam, Washington DC, Mexico City, Hong Kong and Xiamen in recent years. But to be honest, establishing this series of global alumni meetings came at a price. We didn't have any real strong local OneMBA events in a while, and we would like to change that, and we already have started to work on that together with the OneMBA Program Office and the Alumni Office. Because as Irene told you, you might be part of 2 communities, but I'm happy to say the school and the Alumni Association really are working together to complement each other and to organize events. But we can also use your help in organizing activities. Well, I won't ask for volunteers today, but I will send an email over the next few weeks. And if you are interested in organizing events, if you are interested in exchanging ideas, please contact us. So for now, I would like to finish with an invitation, because the next global alumni meeting will be in Brazil in March 2018, because when the class of 2019, hard to keep track, but when 2019 starts, the order will be changed. It will be first DC, then the Latin American will be in March, so that's why it's March 2018, then they go to Asia, and last and certainly not least will be Rotterdam in May 2019. So it would be great if some of you could also join us there in Brazil, March 2018. But I think I can also tell you the 2019 version will be in Rotterdam. So if you cannot travel in March, you can always come in 2019. Please keep an eye on the Facebook and LinkedIn page. Well, thank you very much for your attention. Congratulations once again. Enjoy your achievements amongst yourself, with your families and friends. and I really do look forward to seeing you in future events. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you, Peter. Class has prepared something for us, or some people in the class have prepared something for the rest of the class, right? Arnold, can I ask you to step forward and introduce it to us?
Thank you, Saskia, for giving me the opportunity to introduce this video, but also be the final person today in front of this wonderful room to congratulate my fellow classmates, my friends, with our achievement. It's truly been an achievement. It might not come as a surprise after 2 days of personal journey storytelling that we have decided to call this movie, OneMBA 17, The Journey. And as cliché as this might start to sound, the video will show you that it truly has been a journey. We have traveled to 4 different continents. We've seen 7 different countries. I've even been in the privileged position to visit a 5th as an elective, and we have seen truly amazing things. It's also been a journey in a deeply personal way, as Rick and Anneke already relayed to you. So altogether, we have created many great memories over the last 2 years, and this video simply tries to capture some of those moments for ourselves, just to relive those moments, but also for our guests today to get a glimpse of what our experiences were. So we had a lot of fun making it. And I guess what remains for me to say right now is, on behalf of the video team, Rick, Anneke, René, Geert and myself, please enjoy.
The heart is a balloon, shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rent in this town. You're out of luck, and the reason that you had to care, the traffic is stuck, and you're not moving anywhere. You thought you found a friend to take you out of this place, someone you could lend a hand in return for grace. It's a beautiful day, sky falls, you feel like it's a beautiful day, so let it get away on the road, but you've got no destination.
Hi all, it's really terrific to be with you today, even if it's just virtually. I'm really sorry I couldn't join you for graduation. Let me begin by giving you some good and some bad news. The great news is I told the new class that I was going to be doing this short video for you. The less great news is they asked that I please point out to you that you should be incredibly proud that they are a much better class than you are. In other words, the future of your qualification is guaranteed thanks to their excellence. While I'd never agree with them, of course, don't tell them that. More seriously, what I would like to say is that I'm incredibly proud of my involvement with you and with the OneMBA over so many years. This program remains a highlight of my life, being part of its design and seeing the caliber of individuals that have passed through their doors on the way to fantastic careers and fantastic contributions to their enterprises, to their families, and to broad society. Of course, I have to admit to having a particular bias for the subset of students who have the RSM brand behind them rather than the brands of the other schools. But that's just bias. I guess what I would like to do in ending, aside from wishing you every success for the future, is to end on a slightly lighter note by saying there is one area of very deep disappointment that I had with you as a class. And that was, I was never able to convince you of the dangers of spending any time on marketing and on paying attention to John Pelosi. I hope you've recovered from that mistake and that you would go forward valuing finance and always being incredibly suspicious of what marketing academics have to say to you. Good luck, and thanks for giving me the time to say this to you. Ciao.
Oh, the wind whistles down the cold dark street tonight, and the people, they were dancing to the music vibe. And the boys, just the girls in their hair, while the shouting men who just sit way over there. And the songs, they get louder, each one better than before. And you're singing the songs, thinking this is a life. And you wake up in the morning and your hip is twisted sides. Where you gonna go, where you gonna go, or where you gonna sleep tonight? And you're singing the songs, thinking this is a life. And you wake up in the morning and your hip is twisted sides. Where you gonna go, where you gonna go, or where you gonna sleep tonight? Or where you gonna sleep tonight? So you're heading down the road in your taxi for 4.
Congratulations, RSM. My special shout out to Lucy, who's going to graduate next year, but still she was my first global team member. And then Zwanimir and Jalal, and last but not the least, Hirte and Friedrich. You guys were awesome, and I enjoyed every bit of my time working with you guys. And congratulations, we did it. And remember, friends for life.
Where you gonna sleep tonight? And you're singing the song, thinking this is a life. And you wake up in the morning and your hip is twisted sides. Where you gonna go, where you gonna go, or where you gonna sleep tonight? Or where you gonna sleep tonight?
Nie widzi mnie tu nikt. Spuszczam ze smyczy każdą męczącą mnie myśl. Gwiazdy formują trójkąty i kwadraty. Dzisiaj w kieszeniach będę do ciebie niósł. Zmieniam stan, unoszę się do chmur, spadam kulami gradu, topnieje u twych stóp. Jak para zmieniam stan, unoszę. Chcesz, będę twój.
Hello, my dear friends. What an honor to be with you with this so important day representing my dear country, Brazil. I have to say that it was a real pleasure to share with you this global residences and the global groups. It's a consensus among Brazilian people that you showed real and genuine interest in other cultures. Be sure that you have visited Brazil in a very special moment of our history. And I just hope that you have enjoyed Brazil as much as you have enjoyed Europe because you were perfect hostess. To finish, I wish you all the best. Be lucky, be happy, enjoy your families. And you have friends in Brazil for anything you need. See you soon. Até breve. Tchau.
Rayando el sol, rayando por ti. Amado, estoy desesperado.
Con este nombre, mi nombre es el
One of the nice takeaways of the Global OneMBA was meeting my friends from Holland. I really enjoyed meeting them. I had experience before with some Hollanders in Mexico as well. They all seem to be very nice, very outspoken, and very open mind. I really love the experience with you guys. And other thing I could say, I know that when you work, you are very detailed and very straightforward, and you say exactly what's on your mind. We're not used to that in Mexico, but for you guys, I'll do. Thank you, guys.
A tu casa yo fui. En el parque, en la plaza, en el cine yo te busqué. Te tengo atrapada entre mi piel y mi alma. Mas ya no puedo tanto y quiero estar junto a ti.
Is it all legit? Don't know how to react or play the game. Got no time for this proper exchange.
Es más fácil llegar al sol que a tu corazón.
Hey Francisca, this is Bill, your friend from the world.
Me muero por ti.
Hi, 大家好. Hi, everyone. I'm Gordon from OneMBA Xiamen University. OneMBA classmates from RSM represent Western Europe culture. We Xiamen University classmates represent Eastern Asia culture. So sometimes we confronted conflicts during our cooperation. But more often, we complemented each other. That's how we developed our adaptability to global business. All in all, RSM classmates are very diligent and also very insightful. I really enjoyed talking with them about business and also about life. I believe they could be your very reliable business partners and also helpful friends.
रात बराती कंधा कोठे टप टप के जाना तू सौखा समझे लगिया दौड़ निभाना रात बराती कंधा कोठे टप टप के जाना और रात बराती कंधा कोठे टप टप के जाना तू सौखा समझे लगिया तोड़ निभाना तू सौखा समझे लगिया मुंडे पंगड़ा पाਉਂਦੇ ਤੇ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਗਿੱਧਾ ज्ञानी इश्क से आपा आग जवानी चली गई तो फिर नहीं आनी कुड़ी बेगानी रहने दे जीना सीधा
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Congratulations, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Thank you very much. What a wonderful compilation of your journey. My goodness, what a journey it was. Huh? I hope that you will share that link with everybody in the class or have already done so. So this is the conclusion of your graduation ceremony. We will hopefully meet again in the future when you attend conferences or come here for electives, and you'll be sitting here in this room maybe. But for now, this afternoon has finished. Your studies have finished, and you came in as students still, and you will leave this room as alumni. And I'm sure that everybody in this room is now finally ready to give you a big hug and congratulate you and raise a glass on your health. So I will no longer hold you back from that. I would like to invite our deans, our speakers, our guests in the cortege to step forward and lead our alumni of the 2017 class out of this room and into their futures. A big round of applause for yourselves.